the channel. This is Waga, and we are going to continue building our app, and today we're going to work on a bit of the UI side. And what we're going to work on is our SignUp form and page. This is the page, and the form is part of this is the form. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to do. And just to give you an example of how we get to the SignUp form, when the app starts, it assumes that the user is a returning user and has an account with the app, right? So we get the login page, and if they're not there, we get this flat button that says new here, create an account. So if you click on this, you come to the sign up page, and the sign up page contains the sign up form. So what we have here is basically we have just a form where you can enter your email and your name, your password, and then you hit sign up, and then you'll get a snack bar. And as you can see, we have basic validation. You remember us setting up the debounce methods on the SignUpBlock. So this is where we deploy them, this is where we use them, and this is where they'll come, and all our hard work will finally pay off. So this is what we're going to build, and as you can notice, when you come to the page, you have to satisfy the various rules for the button to go white. The button is white, right? So we could say let's say waga at gmail.com, and the password, we could say something like like that. So, and then you see the button goes, and this this line that is telling us that we have made a mistake, or our password isn't as what's it called? Our password isn't complex enough. It goes away. What we can do though is we have the snack bar, and to see it, for example, let me create an error so that you can see the snack bar. I know in Firebase you require at least a password with 6 characters. So let me just make 678, like so, 675. You see this one is telling us invalid password because we're setting a much higher bar for our password using our validators, right? Using the regex and the validators. I'm guessing we need at least 8 or something characters, and some of them need to have this and that. But yeah, but this should pass our basic form. So if we hit this, we're supposed to get a snack bar with an error, and it'll appear at the bottom, and it will attempt to sign up, and it will tell us sign up failed with the icon showing us an error. So basically that's all we're going to do here, and we're going to build the form and the page, and we're going to hook them up to the home page. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Our sign up form is going to be a widget, and we're going to embed it in a page. And so we could just create it. We could come to the widgets page, right click, and create a new Dart file. Let's create a new Dart file, and we call it SignUp Form, and hit this. This is going to be a stateful widget because of our need to manage the the text, the controllers, the various controllers for the various what are they called? The various fields we have. So we have an email controller, which is going to be a text editing controller for the email, and a password controller, which is going to be a text editing controller for the password. So to manage those, we need a stateful widget. So to do that, we just type stful. I think I've mentioned this earlier in one of the earlier videos, and this is going to be called SignUp Form. And to get all these squiggly lines off our screen, we need to import the prerequisites, and that's that Flutter material, that, like so. And next thing is that our sign up form is going to have a dependency on, let me just minimize this. It's going to have a dependency on our user repository, right? So we need to create an instance of it. So we could come here and say final user repository, like so, and this will also import it, and this is going to be user repository, like so. And after that, we're going to have SignUp Form. I remember this is required, so I think we've done something like this before. Required and user repository, and we're going to say that the user repository that we pass in is not going to be null. It's not going to be null, so we're going to say user repository is not going to be null, and user repository is set to user repository, like so. We've done this before, and yeah, so we have set up our sign up form, like so. After that, we are going to create the controllers for the text, for the password and the email, the text editing controllers. And for that, we come here and we say final. It's going to be of type text editing controller, like so. It's going to be called email controller, and this is going to be a text editing controller, like so. And after that, we press Command D, and we change this to password, like so. And then after that, we create, we bring in the SignUpBlock. So we could say SignUpBlock and create a private that. And after that, we get the user repo from the widget up here. So to do that, to reach up, we say user repository. We create a getter, user repository, and we're going to use an arrow function, and we're going to reach up using the widget dot user repository, like so. Then we're going to create another getter, for which is a boolean to check whether somebody has typed something into this two fields, right? So for that, we would say bool, which is boolean, get, and we call it is populated, whether the fields are populated, somebody has typed something into it, and it is going to check whether the email controller dot text dot is not empty, and the same for the password. So we can copy this, come here, do this, and say password controller, like so. And it's not empty, we put a semicolon, this is dot after all. And after that, we're going to get another, we're going to check a boolean, we're going to make a boolean that checks whether the state is in submitting mode and whether we have typed something, right? So that it can know whether or not to enable this button. We're going to create a boolean that will govern, that will essentially a flag that will govern whether or not we can press this button or not. So you see right now it's pressable, or you can depress it, and now you can't. So we're going to create a boolean that is going to cover that, so that you can turn it on and off. My timer, let me just minimize this and let's get back to work. And we could say bool is sign up button enabled, and we say here sign up state, and here we can have it as state, and it's going to take in the state from the sign up state, and what it's going to return is, it is going to say to check is populated is true, and also the state dot is submitting is not true. So for that we come here and put the exclamation mark like so, and we need to put in a semicolon because this is of course that, like so. So we are done with that. Getting a stateful widget is so that we have access to init state, and we can add the listeners to the email controller and the password controllers in init state. Init state is normally run before or during, just as the widget is being inflated. So you normally put code there you want run just as the widget is being inflated in the widget tree. So for that we could come here and type init, and we get that helper init state like so, and we can get rid of this to do. And the first thing first is we need to add in our block, and so that we have access to the block as soon as this widget is inflated on the screen. And for that we use our SignUpBlock, and our SignUpBlock has a dependency on our user repository, so we need to pass it in, right? So for that we would come here and say SignUpBlock, and this is we're going to make it equal to SignUpBlock and pass in the user repository. This one takes in the user repository, and we're going to pass in the no user repository like so. And next we add listeners to the controller so that they can be notified when we have made text changes, like when you type something, so that they can be notified. So for that we come down here and we say email controller dot add listener, and the listener is going to take a function we could call on email changed, like so. We have not built it yet, and that's what we're about to do. Yeah, that's what we're about to do in a bit. So we could hit Command D, so we can do the same for the password controller, add listener on password changed, right? Like so. And after that we are going to come here and create a method on email changed, like so. The method is on email change. Why does it put methods at the bottom? Okay, fine, let's just do it. The method on email change, and we pass in the event, and the event we're going to pass in is email change. So we could say we could say SignUpBlock dot add, and the event is email changed, and in it we're going to pass email. The email is in the text of the controller, so we could say email controller.txt, like so, and we put a comma here and a semicolon there, and we save. And we do the same for password. We could come here and create a method on password changed. On password changed, it's basically the same thing. We come down here and we say SignUpBlock dot add, and we have password. Let me just dot add, and we have the password. Why is it complaining? Oh, I've not spelled password correctly, and the password is going to be underscore password controller dot text, like so. oh, sorry, I have not put password here. Okay, signup.add, we could say password changed, and then we wrap this like so, and we put a comma, and we put a semicolon at the end of this method. And after that, we need to put another method for dispose. So for that, we would come down here to dispose of the email and password controllers, and for that we would type dispose, and we can get all the code finishing there. It can help us finish the code. And for that, we can say email controller.dispose, password controller.dispose, like so, and email, so that's they don't link around when we're no longer on the page, dispose, like so. So basically, we're done with the email controller and the password controller disposing. Yeah, and after that, we need to create. I prefer creating my methods above the build context, above the build. I don't know why. Like when the formatter prefers them when they're at the bottom. I don't know whether that affects performance or something, but yeah. So after that, we have created an email change and password change. We need to create another, and I think the final method is on form submitted. So we could say void on form submitted, like so, and this is going to be, we're going to reach out to the SignUpBlock, and we're going to add, the event is sign up with credentials pressed, like so, and it's going to take an email. The email is going to be from the text of the email controller dot text, and the password, well, more or less the same, password controller dot text, like so, and we put a semicolon here and a comma there so that it can format. Okay, we're now done with our methods. In case you're wondering where we're getting all this, you can just come to the what? Okay, let's get a project view, and we go to the lib folder and we go to the blocks, and I think it's in the sign up, and we come to sign up event, and you can see all this method. We have submitted, we have sign up with credentials pressed, we have password changed, and we have email changed. That's where we're getting them, right? These are the various events that can occur in our sign up form. So after that, now we can go back to, it's in the widgets, right? We can go back to the sign up form, and we can continue, and where? Okay, fine. Yeah, we're here. And first things first is we could query for the size of the screen, and for that we could just say size equals media query dot of. We pass in the context and we pass in the size, like so. So we do that, and this will tell us we can orientate the size of various things dependent on the size of the screen, right? And next we're going to use a block listener. A block listener is just a widget which takes responds to changes in state in the block. It's normally used once per state change, like for navigation, or in our case we're going to use it for the snack bar. Block listener is normally used for when there's a state change. You can work with the snack bar, right? So what we could do is under here, under the build, where is it? Oh, you see, I get confused when there are methods under the build. So here we could just return, but let's use them with methods. I don't like the methods there. It looks weird. I could say block listener, like so, and we're going to give it the block that it's supposed to look at, use, and this is going to be the SignUpBlock, like so. And the listener is going to be, it's going to take a context and the state that it's supposed to consider before doing what we want it to do. Build context and of type build context, and we could say the state is of type SignUpState. It's going to be not state, like so. And we are going to have that put in, and we're going to have various states to consider. We say if the state is failure, if the state is, and you can guess where this is coming from. If the state is failure, we could come here and say scaffold. You just come to the scaffold.of, pass in the context to tell it where it is, and we're going to use the cascading operator. So it says show snack bar, and here we can have the snack bar, okay, and we can have the snack bar, and the snack bar is going to have, the content is going to be a row. You saw the snack bar, it's what appears down here, right, in case you not clued in. And it's going to have a main axis alignment, and it's going to have space between the messages and the error. Main axis space between, so it's going to put the message here and the error at the other end. And the children in the row are going to be a text, and the text is going to say simply sign up failed. Yeah, we could say sign up failed, like so. And after that we could have the icon, and the icon in this case is going to be icons.error. Icon is going to be icons.error, like so. You will see this. So when you balls up the sign up, you get that. So for that, if you want to see where that is, you come up to SignUpState, and you could say is failure is here. It's a boolean. Is failure is somewhere here. Yeah, it's here. So after that we can sorry, let's close this and go back to our form. After that we can now start working on the submitting and the rest. So let's continue, and we can put a semicolon there, and let's copy this for the next state and make a few changes. Yeah, and we could check and hit Command V, and we say if state is submitting, if state is submitting, first thing we're going to do is we're going to print is submitting, like so. And then we're going to reach to the scaffold.context, use the cascading operator, which allows you to the cascading operator, it just simply allows you to, like if you have an object, to run multiple methods on the same object, right? Yeah, just look it up. Just look at cascading operator. There's some good examples on how it works with Dart. Yeah. So we come to snackbar, and the row is going to be main space between, and the text is going to be signing up with the dot, and we're going to have as a second child in the row is going to be a circular progress indicator, like so. Yeah, and yeah, and we're going to go to the next stage. The next state is if it is success. Yeah, with failure and submitting, let's handle success. Now the success, we are going to, if it's successful, we're going to inform the auth block of a new event, right? And for that we're going to use the block provider. So we should come here, where is the end of this, and we could come here and say if the state of the sign up is success, like so, we first we can print success. Sorry, we can print success. That's the first thing we're going to do, is print success. Not is submitting. We can print success, like so, and then after that we reach over to the auth block, the authentication block, that is. So we could say, not block provider dot auth authentication block, and we tell it of a new event, add, and that event is logged in, like so. And after that we push this page off the stack. Wait, what's the problem? Oh, we hadn't imported the block library. What's wrong? Block provided of authentication block that add. Okay, it seems to be acting up, and after that we could say navigator dot of, and we pass in the context. We pop it off. We pop this page off the stack, right? Dot pop, like so. And I don't know why this is not cooperating. Am I spelling it correctly? Block provider undefined. Okay, let me just have a look and sort this out. Hi guys, this is Waga from the future, and I decided this video was getting much longer than I expected, so I decided to cut it into two so that it can be a more manageable time. I don't want them to be I don't want a video to be more than 40 minutes. I want the maximum to be 40 minutes, preferably something under 30. So this one has already gone on for too long, so I'll split it into two videos, this one and the next one. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, and start the repository on GitHub, and I will see you in the next one.